Live et direct des réno-captures de la mer du Sud. Maintenant aussi légèrement froid. Ça manque les dernières journées. À la barre, Sébastien Hannigan alias Maître Bach. Sébastien, qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Je pense que le vent a molli.
Ah, ça c'est pas bien.
Non, mais ça va revenir. C'était prévu. Il n'y a plus que 22-25 nœuds. On marche à 17 nœuds à peu près. Et cette nuit, ça a envoyé un peu du gros. Il y avait 31 nœuds en rafale. Et on a bien attaqué.
So not very much change in the Barcelona World fleet today. Chimney Pujala just still making their way south in the strong westerlies. Breeze will increase for them through the day. Neutrogena about 200 miles behind, also now slanted down towards the south. Gaius and Renault Captur probably have the best conditions above this strong low pressure system you can see to their south. They have about 25-30 knots of westerly wind. We Are Water also making good progress down close to the exclusion zone. One Planet, One Ocean now having to harden up a little bit close to the exclusion zone. And about 30 miles north of the exclusion zone this morning was Spirit of Hungary, still upwind due to this high pressure system that lies to their east. So that's the situation for the fleet today.
One month of racing, the maneuvers are overwhelming. There's a huge lack of sleep. Faces are being wind-beaten and hands weathered.
Puis bah dehors, ça cogne, ça tape. Le vent est tombé un peu, mais c'est pas moyen de tenir debout.
It's been really hard to make any progress.
And the leaderboard this Sunday, the 8th of February, 9 o'clock this morning. Chimney Pujala making about 16-17 knots first thing this morning. They are 202 miles ahead of Neutrogena, so a small gain over the last 24 hours, about 5 miles I think gain to Neutrogena. Neutrogena in second, much the same kind of speeds, now going southeast as well. 112 degrees was the course for Neutrogena this morning, 96 degrees for Chimney Pujala. Gaia Centre Sauditivos slowed slightly, Renault Captur 16 knots. We Are Water in 5th, 11.2 knots. One Planet, One Ocean, 8.9 knots. Spirit of Hungary, 12.6 knots, making 90 degrees due east for Spirit of Hungary, so things perhaps going a little bit better.
No, estamos siempre haciendo nuestra regata, obviamente, viendo lo que está a nuestro alrededor, los que van adelante, los que van atrás, viendo todas las condiciones y siempre estar proyectando desde 4 a 5 días más para poder no quedarse con poco viento o demasiado viento. Sí, no, hemos aprovechado de descansar en algunas condiciones como ha estado un poco fuerte, hemos estado con velas muy más chicas, entonces no damos tiempo como para poder estirarse, poder compartir, estar un poco más descansado por si hay que poner velas más grandes o poder andar más rápido. Las condiciones han estado bastante cambiantes, mucha ola, mucho viento que sube, baja, así que esperemos que en estos próximos días, según la meteorología, vaya a estar un poco más estable, por lo menos de evolución, y bueno, tratar de aprovecharlo lo mejor posible. No, hasta el momento estaríamos bastante bien con el barco, sobre todo las condiciones por lo menos están bastante bien. A lo mejor le puede arreglar una camita mejor, pero el resto te diría que bastante bien. No, para nada. Yo sé que obviamente cada uno en mi casa y todo, ¿verdad? Pero primero hay que del día a día, minuto a minuto, que vaya, el barco vaya bien y después cuando estemos ahí, bueno, veamos lo que sea. Y bueno, impresión obviamente ninguna, solamente la ganas de hacer una buena regata y después obviamente terminar de la mejor forma posible. Muy bien, se aprende bastante, un gran tripulante, un gran navegante, así que tiene mucho conocimiento que demostrar y compartir.
So the two leaders, Chamonix Pujola and Neutrogena, still in nice, strong northwesterly conditions. The conditions will improve, become more settled and stronger as they get south, away from the high pressure which dominates the Great Australian Bight at this time of year in the Australian summer. So they have strong northwesterly winds. Furthest to the south is Chamonix Pujola. Chamonix Pujola have made 2 jibes. And Neutrogena 202 miles behind, still quite downwind, and will go further to the east and then will probably jibe at some point. So that's the 2 leaders. On top of this big low pressure system we have Gaius Centros Auditivos and Renault Captur. Renault Captur have been a little bit quicker, had caught some miles back up to Gaius, but these two still going very well. This low pressure is quite strong and quite active, has now rolled forward on these 2 boats, so it's more to their southeast now. They're still in great conditions, Gaius making about 12 or 13 knots, Renault Captur making 16 this morning, so closing miles on them. Spoke with Jose Munoz this morning on Neutrogena, on good spirits, just saying how conditions will become a little bit more settled. They're well rested on board. He's enjoying sailing with Guillermo. Guillermo, such a fountain of knowledge and so much experience. He was talking a little bit, it's obviously well in advance of Cape Horn. They have about 1,000 miles left of the Indian Ocean, and then we'll be into the Pacific. But talking a little bit about Cape Horn this morning, obviously Chilean by birth and native of Chile, loves the area around Cape Horn, and that's going to be a big landmark for him, and he's looking forward to being there.
C'est un fusible pour pas aller trop loin, la peur, quoi. Si elle n'est pas présente, c'est de l'inconscience.
The people who is not scared makes mistakes. So you must be scary a little bit. You must be afraid a little bit. You must respect the conditions.
C'est sûr que la peur vient à partir du moment où on ne contrôle pas la minute qui suit ou l'heure qui vient. Ça s'appelle la peur.
Hay muchas cosas que son nuevas, que me dan respeto, pero no siento miedo en el sentido estricto de la palabra.
We have to honor the nature, we have to honor the conditions.
Il faut tout le temps avoir les sens en éveil, à savoir qu'il faut anticiper les conditions météorologiques.
I have confidence in my experience and that of Nando. I have confidence in the structure of the boat, so I'm not afraid for our lives, I'm more afraid for our performance, or I'm afraid for the mast.
La structure, elle a une limite, quoi. La peur de casser, elle est présente tout le temps.
Hay un factor que no controlamos. Los objetos flotando en medio del mar, por ejemplo.
I fins que no xoques i tens un problema, doncs no pots arreglar, i per tant no val la pena pensar-hi gaire.
Fallos técnicos de cosas que no puedes prever de ninguna forma, una rotura de mástil.
Et nous, justement, on se prépare aussi pour bien connaître le bateau, pour ne pas avoir ce genre de problématique.
El miedo te avasalla antes de salir.
It's our job to avoid the problems somehow and sailing as safe as possible.
Un bateau, c'est comme une entreprise. Hein.
Si hay un mal momento, lo detectas y piensas la solución.
Tu es obligé de prendre un minimum de risque pour pouvoir avancer.
Je pense que je suis moins stressé en bateau qu'à terre.
I can be afraid at sea, and and that's one of the things that I like. I like to be challenged like that. I like to be pushed to the edge, and to push that edge for me further and further.
So looking first of all then at Spirit of Hungary, making about 12 or 13 knots. The breeze should be much more from the north now, probably around about 19 or 20 knots. So conditions should have improved a little bit for Spirit of Hungary. They still have this high pressure ahead of them, but they're less influenced by the rotation of it just now. But their problem is that they're further and faster they go forwards, and they're still running into the high. So their speed is very much dictated by the pace of the high, how it moves east. So problems still then really for Spirit of Hungary caused by this high pressure system. One Planet, One Ocean, still a little bit upwind. They're very close to the exclusion zone. They were about 30 miles off it this morning, making just 9 knots. And they're getting close to the centre of the high. The centre of the high is really only probably a matter of probably 150 miles in front of them, something like that. Maybe 200 miles in front of them. And as they get closer to the centre of the high, then the winds are dropping. It certainly accounts for their relatively tame boat speed this morning, 9 or 10 knots. We Are Water, Bruno Garcia and Willie Garcia going well. They're on the other side of the high. And they are in good southwesterly conditions, making 11 or 12 knots and in good shape. Steering a fairly a course south of east and going fast. So all good for just now for We Are Water and the Garcia brothers.
Hi everybody. Today the leaders of the Barcelona World Race are now still fighting in front of the race, and we can see Pujula is today 800 miles away from the Pacific Ocean. They had some little jibes to do and keep heading southeast to go underneath the high pressure here and a bit north of the low pressure, just on the edge of the exclusion zone, where we can have 25 to 30 knots, picking up 35 in a day in a gust. 200 miles northwest of Cheminée Pujula is Neutrogena. Neutrogena now is having a northwest 25 knots wind and doing a boat speed around 16 knots, trying to catch up and slowly heading southeast as well to keep going under this high pressure. Just behind Neutrogena, around 1,000 miles behind, we have Gaes here. Gaes is doing a good boat speed with 16 knots of boat speed, experiencing a 25 knots of wind coming from the west, and due to expected to turn northwest in the day, and as long as they will head to the east, the wind is supposed to be picking up because of the big low pressure we have here, and we're expecting 30 knots of wind. In the southwest of Gaes, we have Renault Capture. They've been the fastest boat for the last 24 hours, sailing 400 miles. They have as well a strong wind, around 20-25 knots, and expected to pick up in the day to 30 to 35 knots in the gust, as they're going to the east. Here we have We Are Water. We Are Water is just a little bit at the back of this low pressure here, and still has some good pressure as well, some good wind for We Are Water with a southwest direction, and probably around 15 knots. They're currently doing 14 knots of boat speed. Around 1,000 miles behind, we have now One Planet, One Ocean and Farmaton boat. It's been heading to the southeast for the last 24 hours, with a northeast wind blowing 15 knots and the boat doing 12 knots of boat speed. Wind is supposed to be picking up a little bit in the day, and as well coming from the northeast, turning north and probably northwest at the end of the day. 500 miles behind One Planet, One Ocean, we have Spirit of Hungary. Finally, they're having a bit of better angle of the wind because we have a north to northwest wind blowing, 15 knots, and the boat is sailing 14 knots of boat speed. Very close to the exclusion zone, and probably 30 miles, and now heading to the east. So, pretty good.